Ka halalim la Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Bahashir Kodash. Thought Yahushai, thought Yahweh for giving me the power to make this video now, to keep supporting the Akim as well, and Akwaf, to enjoying this truth, especially the Akim as well, going out in the highways and byways and preaching whatever way they can as well. Thought Yahushai, thought Yahweh. So Akim and Akwaf, as you guys saw in the first clip that I played, that comes from the movie called Split, which is available on Netflix for you Akim if you're interested as well. It's spiritual because of the fact that it says the actor, I forgot his name, but you guys probably know him by Charles Xavier from the X-Men movies. And one of the things he said was, "You are different from the rest." And after that, he says, "Your heart is pure, rejoice." So clearly, this is also referencing the elect as well, the ones who are sincerely serving Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, because Yahweh set them apart from everyone else. So that's why I found it spiritual when he said that you are different from the rest. So even going to the scriptures, we can go to Isaiah chapter 42 verse 1. Let me get that quickly. Isaiah chapter 42 verse 1. Let me just get this verse. Okay, so it says, Isaiah chapter 42 verse 1. Behold my servant, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him, he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. So clearly, the fact that Yahweh himself says, behold my servant whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him, he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. So the ones of which Yahweh has put his spirit within them, which are obviously those who are sincerely serving him, are known to be his elect as well, in whom his soul delighteth. So referring back to the quote where the actor says, you are different from the rest. Yeah, those serving Yahweh Bashim Yahshua are different mentally, physically and spiritually, because the fact that as soon as we enter this truth, we change our ways, that where we realize that we need to change the foods that we eat. We can't be eating too much fats and sugary foods. That's for physical, in the physical aspect. In terms of mental, as we read these scriptures, it changes the way we think, and obviously the way you think changes the way you act as well. And spiritual, of course, when receiving that spirit from Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, it just brings the physical and mental together. So man, and referring back to another quote where he says, I'm just going to call him Charles Xavier, man, because most Akim are probably going to know from the X-Men movies. So Khan, he says, your heart is pure, rejoice. So he made a pause after that. And this quote itself, where it says, when Charles Xavier says, your heart is pure, obviously not in the X-Men movies, but in the movie called Split, where he says, your heart is pure, and then he paused, and he says, rejoice. And the thing is, the elect who serve Yahweh Bashim Yahshua are going to rejoice very soon, because they are going through that purification process. So that again is another spiritual quote through the spirit within this movie, as it says within Wisdom chapter 3 verse 5 about being tried in the fire as gold. Let's get to that right now. Wisdom chapter 3 verse 5. Let me get to that quickly. Wisdom chapter 3 verse 5. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded, for Yahweh proved them and found them worthy for himself. So Khan, that little chastisement, obviously going through that suffering, is that purification process right there. Because when Charles Xavier said in the Split movie, I know that's his name, just a constant reminder, it says, your heart is pure, rejoice. So before a heart becomes pure, especially in this degenerate age that we live in, because of Esau Edom, clearly, clearly that would be the time of which you need to be purified from all this wickedness. And we read Wisdom chapter 3, verse 5 again. And having been a little chastised, it's not even a lot. It may feel like a lot to us, but clearly Yahweh knows how much is a lot. So it says, continue, it says, they shall be greatly rewarded, for Yahweh proved them and found them worthy for himself. That's why you can also link it back to the quote where he says, where in the movie Split, he said, in that clip that I showed, he said, your heart is pure, rejoice. Because that rejoice will come from the fact that we're gonna, Yahweh Ratazah, if we be worthy to be part of his elect as well, we're gonna be rejoicing as well because of that great reward. And we're going to be worthy to be in the presence of Yahweh Shem Yahshua after those new bodies as well. And I think 1 Corinthians 15 as well. Come on. So yeah, man, we just got to be patient and keep enduring whatever we have to endure through. And he says another quote, a third one that I wrote down was that he said, the broken are the more evolved. So come on, sometimes in order to rebuild a character, you have to break them down first before you build them back up, and that's what Yahweh Shem Yahshua is doing as well. Technically through this through multiple chastisement, whatever season you may be going through, whether it be your judgment or just chastisement for any sin that you've done. Yeah, man, that's how Yahweh Shem Yahshua is basically remolding us in his image to act like him, to be a reflection of him, Yahweh Yahushua, which is what this world needs as well, man, before the righteous rulership will come back through Yahushua. So come on, man. That purification process, let's see what other scriptures I can get to. We just have to keep enduring and keep going to the point we are confident with our faith based on Yahweh Yahushua, to the point of which, yeah, when the spirits of vengeance come, that's probably how the type of attitude that they have. They'll see our hearts, which are our minds really, and the fact that Yahweh Shem Yahushua has pretty much remolded us, then they'll go and execute Yahweh's judgment elsewhere, and any 2/3 who isn't purified. That's why he said, Charles Xavier, obviously I really need to know his name. You know, I'm going to search it up right now. But anyways, as I'm searching it up, I'm going to say that's why he said, the broken are the more evolved. Because the broken are the ones who know how pain really feel like. And through that pain, it changes one's attitude and one's thinking as well. That's why this purification process is fundamental to enter the kingdom. Speaking of purification, there's another scripture. I'm going to get to that very soon. It's Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus 2 verse 5, yeah. I was searching up, what's his name? Real name. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know, how did I even forget his name? Salakia. Let's go do this quickly. Should be here. I'll recognize it when I see it. Salak. Just want to call him by his real name. It's not the right movie. Come on. Almost done. Oh, okay. I think, James McCoy. McAvoy, something like that. James, yeah, anyways, that's his real name, James. So going back to Ecclesiasticus 2 verse 5 about the purification, man. It says, as James McCoy said, the broken are the more evolved. And this is how Yahweh Shem Yahshua is remolding us, man. Breaking away all the parts that it doesn't like, which is wickedness, pretty much. Unrighteousness. Vanity. Now let's go to Ecclesiasticus 2 verse 5, which is also known as Sirach 2 verse 5. So it says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So before Yahweh Shem Yahshua will accept except the men who are sincerely serving him, he's got to purify them as gold is tried in the fire. And you know, fire is obviously the most painful thing to go through as well, to endure through that burning. Metaphorically meaning that anything that we have to go through, whatever type of torment we have to go through, especially in this season where there's going to be mandates for the max, and what else? The chip is coming soon as well. Yahweh Ratazar comes 2022 as well, man. This beast system fall quickly. But yeah, man, we're going to be going through all sorts of things. And we just got to go through. You never know, man. Probably lose some body parts. Obviously, that's the thought I have occasionally. You just have to endure. But Yahweh Ratazar, that will get his protection. That's the main concern right here. Anyways, let's see what other scriptures. So Quran says, you are different from the rest. That's referring to the elect separation, the 1/3 of Yashala, and also the elect men who are preaching out there and making lessons online as well. It says your heart is pure, rejoice, because yeah, we're gonna get that reward as well. Yeah, I'm willing that Yahushua have mercy on us as well in these times. That he puts the spirit of confidence to fight and then endure through this truth as well. And obviously the third quote, the broken are the more evolved. So let's go to I think since I'm already on Ecclesiasticus, let's go to verse 11. Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 verse 11. For Yahweh is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in time of affliction. Exactly. So we us doing this work right now, making lessons, going out to preach as well, doing whatever we can really to push Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the truth of Yahweh Yahushai. Clearly that's the works that we're doing. And Yahweh Ratazar, as we aim for, is to gain that mercy and forgiveness of sins as well. In the time of affliction, which is coming, it's pretty much already here, but it's on a low level right now. But it's going to get harder and harder and harder. But Yahweh Ratazar, we have that strength to endure. Let me go to, let's see what else. So yeah, we just got to endure, man. And therefore, that clip was therefore spiritual. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, this is basically the chastisement of the elect that will make them purified in order to avoid all the vengeance that's coming upon the earth, which is Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai's vengeance. Yahushai's vengeance. Ultimately, it's Yahweh's. But yeah, man. So that we get that protection in the time that comes. Hence why we have to keep doing the works. And one of these works, the main works, is as mentioned in Colossians 1 verse 28. I'm gonna do it right now. Let's see. Colossians 1 verse 28. Whom we preach, Colossians 1 verse 28, whom we preach, warning every man and teaching every man in all wisdom, that we may present every man perfect in Yahushua HaMashiach. So Yahweh Ratazar, we be preaching and also warning every man of the time to come, man. Not to take the max, not to take the chip, which is the actual mark of the beast, that implant, and not to basically don't forsake Yahweh Shem Yahushai, just endure through it, and teaching them about the truth that they're Israelites and the fact that they need to come back to Yahweh Yahushai. That's all part of the teaching. Obviously, you can bring out the milk before the meat, something easy to digest. And gradually they'll then get the meat and understand. But then again, obviously not all Israelites will want to come back to Yahweh Yahushai. Hence why they have to go through the second round, which is through the nuclear missile fire. And yeah, when the spirits go up to the heavens and come back, they just have to be reborn. And that's just the way it is. But they'll just have that everlasting shame. That's the only catch to it. And you don't want to have that shame in the kingdom, man. You definitely don't want to have that shame. So it's going to be awkward as well. So we got to endure. And as the clip says, the broken are the more evolved. So any time that you may go through chastisement, suffering of some sort, or any torment of which Esau may bring on you, just believe that Yahweh Shem Yahushai has got your back. Even if you die for this truth as well, which I need to get to that scripture, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 4 verse 28. Even if you die, you know that your spirit is going to go to the heaven with that scripture that says in Ecclesiastes 12 verse 7 about the spirit returning unto the one that created it, which is Yahweh himself. So let me go to strive unto death. Let's see, Ecclesiasticus 4 verse 28. Oh yeah, so Ecclesiasticus 4 verse 28. Strive for the truth unto death, and Yahweh shall fight for thee. So in the time of which the basic point is, as you do your works, do it pretty much as you can to the end of which to the point of which they may threaten you with death for not taking a max, for not taking a microchip. Then then we die. That's simply what it is. And then Yahweh Hashem Yahshua will fight for us. Because even if we die, we're going to be placed in a peaceful state because of the fact that our fleshly bodies are left, and then we just take up the spirit, and then we just rest in it, in a peaceful state until Yahushua basically resurrects us in those new bodies. Yahweh Ratazah were worthy of being part of Yahweh's elect, as it says in Isaiah chapter 42 verse 1. In whom his soul delighteth, in whom the elect delight Yahweh, or Yahweh Shai. So Yahweh Ratazah were part of that elect as well, man. But yeah, that's pretty much the clip right there. And part of that as a final point, part of that purification process is obviously letting go of the mortal things, the vain things, because eventually there will come a point of which you need to leave everything. It could be family members, it could be just vain devices, money, jobs, obviously that thing that you're used to having every single day, food, water, that type of stuff you gotta leave, even clothing as well. So Yahweh Shem Yahshai obviously will help us in that time. That's why it's good to have a high level of faith as well. In that time it will help us to get into a high level of faith, because of the fact that when you're put into a position of trial, that is how gold is tried. Because when you're put in a hard, harsh position, you're gonna have to grow stronger in that position. That's what it is. So I think I'll just leave it there, Hakim. As you guys saw from the split clip, you just have to keep enduring. That was the thing, man. I'll say there are 3 quotes again by James McAvoy or something like that. Yeah, that's his name, James McAvoy. You are different from the rest, referencing Isaiah chapter 42 verse 1. And Yahweh Hashem Yahshai is elect, being specific. Yeah. The second quote, he said, your heart is pure, rejoice. Because during that purification process, Yahweh Hashem Yahshai is knocking off any unrighteousness that's been attached to us formally before we enter this truth. And then the reason why we're going to rejoice, Yahweh Tazar, is basically getting the reward for going into these works and being diligent, consistent, and disciplined as well, as we always try to be. Referencing Wisdom chapter 3 verse 5 about being tried in the fire. The third quote, James McAvoy said, the broken are the more evolved. So then again, gold tried in the fire. The more suffering you go through, the more you will evolve, because it's really just cleansing you. That's what Yahushua is doing. That's what Yahweh is doing. And ultimately, Yahweh Tazah, that Yahushua finds us worthy to receive the salvation that he provides for us. So anyways, I'm just gonna end it there. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Bahashem Racha Kodash. With double honors to great Muslim apostles. Barakatha Yahushua, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushua, Barakatha Yahweh. Nakyam, Quaf, keep enduring.
Let's get the book of Ecclesiasticus, the book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 5 in the Apocrypha. Okay? It says, let's start at the top. The point is in verse 5, but let's start at the top. Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, it says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. It says, set thy heart aright, thy mind, okay? And constantly endure, and make no haste in time of trouble, okay? Constantly endure, as I oftentimes quote in my lessons, okay? He that endureth until the end, the same shall be saved. So we must endure, okay? He that endureth until the end, the same shall be saved, okay? It says, verse 3, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. So no matter what we go through, no matter how dire or hopeless the situation looks, cleave unto Yahweh Shai, okay, and he will deliver you. Remember, this is all a test, okay? And our righteous works do follow us. So if we are part of that elect, no matter what we go through, it is destined for us, okay? It is destined for us to win in the end. And that's a beautiful thought, especially considering this is our last captivity. So in every reincarnation or incarnation we lived in prior to this point, we lived a righteous life in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay? And this is the last time. This is the last test that we're going to be under these other nations in subjection and in captivity. All right? It says, I'm going to read verse 4 again. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. Okay? For gold, this is verse 5, the point, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Okay? Acceptable men. Because remember, this is for the men first. The ones on the front lines, battling in the trenches. Okay? The Lord said he is going to make us more precious than fine gold. Okay? That's a promise to the men, his men. Okay? The brothers of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the elite of the elect. Okay, the 144,000, the governing body. The men doing this work in truth and sincerity, that's the lot we hope to fall into. Alvarataza, okay?